All right. Good morning and welcome back to another episode. It is Sunday, the 8th of January, 2023, and I'm coming to you live from the back seat of my car at my in-laws' house. My parent-in-laws. I don't know how you say that. I know mother-in-law and father-in-law, but I guess just the in-laws. I'm just in the back of the car because the house is packed up. There's heaps of people in there, and I felt like for me to get some privacy and to do this little podcast, I need it to be a little intimate. But it's also kind of loud out here, so I can't really. I want to be sitting in a hot car like a baby on a hot day. That's inappropriate, but Jesus Christ, it's fucking warm in here. Anyway. Yesterday I was in a bit of a rush. I was a bit frantic, I think, talking about how I was going to be doing this MC gig. What a fucking good night. What an absolute wild time. I think there's an element of doing this every day for the last week that has helped me to, I guess, just be comfortable when I'm on the microphone. A lot of people sort of hear their own voice and they're like, "Ooh," and they get a bit awkward. But I had a really fun time, and I've only received high praise since it happened. I've heard from the family and people. I think I can't remember who it was, but one older lady was like, "How long have you been an MC for?" And I had to tell her it was my first day. So I don't know. I think maybe I found my new vocation. I thought I wanted to work in professional leadership, and I thought I wanted to be a business leader. Maybe I still can, but I might just have to go and become a wedding celebrant and start emceeing some events and some weddings and stuff. See if I can. Yeah, public speaking might be my vocation. Who knows? Anyway, I didn't really have much to talk about today. I haven't really thought about much. I think I don't want to go too in depth about the wedding because it wasn't mine. But I think it's interesting the tricks the mind plays on us. I knew deep down yesterday that I was going to be successful and that it was going to work out and it was going to be good. I said yes to the gig because I was excited about it and I knew that I could do something like that. And then that pre, I guess, what's the word? Pre-execution anxiety. It's like an excitement, right? Excitement and fear. What is it? Fear is just bad excitement. Anyway, that excitement it was interesting to me. I was excited and I was nervous, and I think I was so nervous because I wanted to be successful. I wanted to do really well. I wanted to do justice to the couple, and I left there feeling really fulfilled, feeling really like I was the glue that kept the reception held together. Kept things running smoothly and kept the crowd entertained, and everybody knew what was happening and when it was happening, and I got to introduce the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. I got the couple to write a little something out about them so that I could repeat that rather than making things up myself. I don't really know the people that they had there other than my wife. So it was interesting, but it was really good. It was one of those events where if I could go back and I could do it again, I know what I would do differently. But the fact that the couple had no expectations, and from what I've heard from people that have been married before, their MCs were just, mates or just people that they knew, who said very little, announced the couple and then didn't really do much. And I took it to the next level and I actually put on a bit of a performance. And I did it for free too. I did it out of love for the couple, and I did it for my wife, who's best friends with the bride. And I think there's something so fulfilling about, knowing that I was able to take something that had no expectations and over deliver. I think that, anyway, it's bloody interesting. And it was a hell of a lot of fun. I think that might be what I want to do with my life. I might go and start doing a celebrancy course. But this is the first podcast I've done in the backseat of my car. it's kind of exciting. It feels like I could take this it's the first time I've really felt like I could take this anywhere and do anything. Maybe I could take this podcast on the road one day. Just talk into the microphone for 10 minutes to 20 minutes every day. Travel Australia, marry couples all around Aussie. How funny would that be? But yeah, no, it was good. It was good catching up with everyone, and I think yeah, sometimes you just gotta not listen to your brain. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Put it under the universe. Oh, a bird shot on me while we were at the ceremony too. So I guess that was good luck for the day. It was the universe telling me that you're gonna kill it. Substance. I want to talk really quickly and touch on substance and having substance in your life, and existing in a way that you're not just going day to day, living a mundane life, living boring, having some substance, having something that I guess makes you, gives you, it's your personality. You're more than just a bag of bones. And I think a lot of people lack substance. I think a lot of people lack it. I don't think it's intentional. I don't think they don't want to have substance, but I think it's just one of those things where they don't really realize it. You got to read every day. You got to read a little bit, 10 pages, 20 pages. Just read. Gain knowledge. Do things. Talk with people. Talk with someone you've never spoken to before. Have a conversation with someone genuinely and listen. Don't talk more than you listen. You'll find some stuff out, and will help gain some substance. I think that when I say substance, I think that most people are like, oh, substance abuse. And I guess you could I wonder if there is a thing about that. I wonder if you could be doing too much, you're abusing the system. Was it flogging the dog? Is that a thing? Have I just made that up? Where you just, obviously substance abuse is a drug addiction. We don't want that. That's not good for anybody. But could you abuse substance as in you try to have too much about you that is interesting, and it does the opposite, like being a know-it-all. No one really cares for a know-it-all. No one really cares for someone who's right all the time. You know what I mean? You can be into surfing and into chess and into video games and into reading and into hiking and into climbing and all these different things. But when do you find time to do all of those? Jack of all trades is the master of none. I guess, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that really. I just thought of the word substance and tried to riff off it. I just think that a lot of people fear doing what they want to do. I know I do. I love the idea of public speaking. I want to tell you guys a story actually about my first time public speaking, and I was actually forced into it. I was pushed into it. It was the first time that I called my mum an asshole, and I meant it. I was probably 17. I was doing the world's greatest shave while I was in year 11. I was collecting all this money to help out. With the world's greatest shave, I was going to shave my head with a mate, and my mum had mentioned to the vice principal or the principal, I can't remember what his role was, that I was doing that and that it might be nice to mention something about it at the assembly. And instead of doing that, he, unbeknownst to me and my mother, now I've found out, he called me up in front of the audience without telling me prior, and I had to speak for a moment in front of the whole school. All of my peers and all of my friends and all my teachers, everybody. It was 300 people, and I had to speak for a moment about what we were doing and why we were doing it and what we were, and I remember the feeling. It was almost a panic attack, but I couldn't really. I had to, how embarrassing if I had to just sat there and shook my head like I'm not coming up on stage, shaking my fucking head vigorously. Instead, I decided, fuck it, I just got to do it, grab it by the balls and just let's get it done. So I got up and I went and I did it, and I spoke, and I remember I could feel the blood rushing up over my shoulders, into my neck, into my head. I could feel it pulsating back and forth, up and down through my fucking head. I was so nervous. I don't even remember what I said. I think everyone clapped and cheered and it was fine. Like, I did fine. And I think it was the first time. At the time, I was hurt. I was so pissed off because never done that before. I was so nervous, so anxious. I didn't want to do it. And I felt like mum had fucking forced me to do it. I felt like she'd pushed me into that. And I remember yesterday I called her before I went to this gig and I thanked her for doing that. And we had a discussion about it. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't be, in the position I am, in the job I am. I wouldn't be the person I am had I not been sort of pushed to get up in front of that crowd and talk about something that I was doing, something that I was passionate about. I had no issue going around and asking people for money. I had no issue taking a sheet of paper around and taking people's pledges for their donations and then going and following that up. I didn't really even have an issue, in a group of friends making jokes and cracking jokes and being, the center of attention or taking the attention away from other things or, being the friend that connected two groups of friends. I had no issues with that. But then in the spotlight in front of 300 people where your words are the only thing they're listening to for any moment, is so nerve-wracking and so overwhelming, and if you think about it too much, you can really panic. But it taught me that I could survive. I remember the feeling, and I remember that that rush in the head and everything, and I can cope with that. I know that with that I can come out the other side of it, and so it made it a little bit easier. And then yesterday when I was doing the MC gig, I get on the mic and I'm a bit nervous because I don't know anybody, and then the first time I realized that I was okay was I made my first joke and the crowd laughed. And then I asked the crowd, I did a bit of crowd work. I asked who traveled the furthest to get there. And I saw hands fly up. And I was like, oh, okay, wow, I've got them. This is my crowd now. They're listening, and they're listening willingly. They're not listening because they've been told to. They're not listening because I'm just the MC. I'm engaging with them in a way that they're interested in. It was it's hard to describe that feeling of having a crowd and it fulfills some sort of fantasy of being being the center of attention on somebody else's special day, but it's I think it was good, and the fact that we're able to make it all roll so smoothly and it was just beautiful, and it's a good time. And I think maybe we'll have to talk more on this podcast about what the future looks like for me. I was talking with the wedding photographer. He's a old friend of mine from high school, or we worked after high school, but from the same small town. And he said that there's a market, a real market for what I did today if I became a celebrant and then also did MCing. You spend all that time building rapport with the couple, and then they just have a random MC come and do it. Like, he's never understood why there wasn't a ceremony MC hybrid, and so it'll be interesting. We'll see how we go, but I'm gonna leave it there. This car is getting really fucking hot. I'm sweating like a pig. I couldn't open any of the windows because there's too much noise. But I feel like I understand why they tell you not to leave kids or dogs in the car for too long. This is fucked up. We're at 13 minutes 55. Look, I want to dedicate this podcast again. I already did yesterday, but I'm doing it again today to Adriana and Richard. If you guys are listening to this, that was a fucking beautiful wedding. You put on such you hosted such a beautiful day, and all of the hard work and all of the effort that you put in really, really showed. And I'm just so glad and so honored that I was able to do your day justice and help round up and round off such a beautiful event. And thank you again for having me. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. We've just hit the week milestone, so this is week 2 of the Mincho edition. That's a good one, the Mincho edition. Anyway, have a good day, guys. This is fucking hot. I'm out. See you.